Hey, all right. It's late in the afternoon and I haven't gotten dressed yet, and I really should start getting up earlier. Anyway, I was suddenly inspired to make a video because several times in the last week, Monopoly has come up quite frequently, and I want to address it. So the way it came up just now was somebody said, "Empty G," my contact list says, "Come to think of it, I've never finished a game of Monopoly. No one has. The game has no ending, only a beginning and a very boring middle." I know that feeling. I kind of dislike Monopoly. I think only once have I seen it completed in my presence, like anywhere near me, and that was like on some camping trip or something for scouts a long, long time ago. Um, Here's the thing, though. I think there is a very good reason for it, and also there's also the same sentiment is said about Risk. Risk never ends; it's a never-ending game. And and ever see that TV show, The Undergrads? I think they have a whole episode about how Risk is a terrible game or an awesome game. I forget. Anyway. The reason for this, I'm convinced, is I mean, Monopoly is a fairly well balanced game. Um, I mean, the game does end. It only takes about an hour to play it at most. What throws it off are not following the rules, and people don't even realize they're breaking the rules. So, for example, free parking shouldn't have any money in it. In the original rules, there's no money on free parking whatsoever. When I play, I throw 500 bucks into the middle, and all income tax and everything else, all that money goes into the middle as well. So what ends up happening when you start throwing money into the middle and getting it on free parking is it artificially injects cash into the system that shouldn't be there, and it ruins the balance of the game, and basically nobody ever goes bankrupt. I think in a proper version of Monopoly, it's very hard for any one person to get hotels out. Like usually you win the game before the hotels even get onto the board. So, I mean, like if you've ever played Monopoly and there's been hotels out on the board, you've probably played it wrong. Um, People also say, so for Risk, Risk is the same way. It just seems like nobody has quite enough armies to push through and win victory. And And that is true if you don't use the playing cards. So, I mean, the rules say every time you win a fight, you get a card. And if you match like three cards, then you get like whatever, 5, 10, 15, 25 armies. Like the number of armies you get escalates as the game goes on. And pretty soon, someone wins like a small conflict somewhere. And then they're trading in for like 60 armies. And then suddenly they're steamrolling like the entire continent. That is what ends the game. And at least when I was a kid, we had an old box of Risk in the closet, and there was no cards with it. Like we didn't know about the cards, we just played without them. When I started asking around to my friends and stuff, nobody's ever used the cards. So that is why these games are broken. And blaming the games and blaming the designers of the games is totally not fair. And I mean, I still do. I still hate Monopoly. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should revisit it with the rules. But it bugs me. It bugs me a lot. And it's interesting why people do it though. Like Monopoly's a good example. People like throwing like 500 bucks into the center of Monopoly because it feels good when you land on free parking, right? Like it feels good. You think you're making the game better. You have more spending power. You have more options. It seems like a good idea, but it's so hard to think about the downstream effects that then make the game unplayable or unwinnable. It makes the game very playable, but nobody can win, and it just gets frustrating and drags on. Um, there's a yeah. Anyway, So, someone, I don't know, I was just talking to someone just now and it came up again, but I originally got into this whole debate around a week or two ago because someone wanted to add a mod to Minecraft that allowed instant teleportation somewhere. Now, Minecraft being uh, a game about exploration, adventure, and the balance and the survival, I'm talking about survival mode here, not creative mode. I mean, survival mode is about surviving the wilderness when you're traveling from point A to point B. Why would you why would you skip all of that? And you say, and the common arguments are, well, I only have limited time. I don't want to spend like 20 minutes walking from one house to the next if I need to go somewhere. I just want to get there now. But I think the same thing's happening. Yes, it gives you benefit now. Yes, you get your reward now and you feel good and you think you're making the game better. But I also think this is exactly why Minecraft has a pretty high burnout rate. Um, you don't realize why, but after a week or two of teleporting everywhere, the game just loses some of its flair. Um, I bet things start happening, like you don't quite run into enough unique, funny, crazy, zany situations anymore. Like you don't see that crazy epic vista. You never saw that sunrise over an exploding creeper, right? Like all those little things that come up in the travel are now gone from your game. And, if you saw that epic sunrise over this awesome ridge, maybe you would have stopped and built another house halfway, right? So I love Minecraft for its inspirational values. And willingly removing that from the game is probably going to cause some downstream effects that you can't predict. You think adding teleporters is just going to make things better, but I don't think that's true. I also think that the Minecraft creators knew that travel times were a problem, and they worked out a compromise. Instead of making you have to walk everywhere, they included minecarts in the game. So, yay! Now there's a compromise. And if that's not enough for you, the Nether realm, which was recently added, now gives you 8 times travel speed. So you can go to the Nether and walk, or you can go to the Nether and build a mine track and walk 8 times faster. So it's not quite teleporting, but it's a good gameplay balance that I think adds to the game instead of detracts from it. Um, anyway, so that's a bit of my rant. Wow, 8 minutes. I must be really passionate about this subject.